What's up guys, Max here, and back with some more Injustice and something I wanted to cover with everybody. In Injustice, there's actually a pretty good tutorial mode that I wanted to go through fairly quick and let everyone know the system mechanics and all that stuff. Even though I covered a little bit of it in the breakdown, this might help out a little bit more because you can see how it actually works in the final game with proper instructions and things like that. So let's start with from the very beginning. This might take about 10 minutes or so, maybe 15. But let's go from special moves to the most advanced things there are in Injustice. And this is already available in the game. Anyone can give it a shot, but this is mostly for the guys that are having trouble trying to figure things out and how they work. And hopefully I can give you a little bit of an explanation of what in the hell is going on. So here we go. The fundamentals of movement are very simple. You move forward, you move back, you move down, and you move up, I imagine. There we go. Dashing is same as Street Fighter games. So dash, dash, forward, forward. There's no run button. You just dash back and forward. Good thing to note, you cannot cancel your dashes like an MK9. This will be kind of a jarring effect to some of you guys that are normal MK players. Moving on. The regular attacks in this game are 1, 2, and 3, light, medium, heavy, or X, Y, and A. Now, X is the basic light attack. This is usually the fastest for all the characters. Y is a good medium attack. This usually ends up being a very good cross-up for a lot of guys too. And A is your heavy attack. What's good to note is that when jumping, some of these will cross up and some won't. Like I said, Batman's medium is a good cross up. His heavy is a good cross up as well, but some characters just don't have very good cross ups, so you gotta remember that. Everyone's universal sweep is down A. This will put them on the ground and is really good for mix-up situations. You'll need to remember that not a lot of people actually use the sweeps just in general. Now let's move on. Now if you want to block in certain situations, this is just like Street Fighter blocking. This will block medium attacks. Actually, I gotta stay high for this one. This will block high attacks. You gotta block low for low attacks, etc. Now let's see if low we're gonna be holding down. Uno, dos, and tres. Superman is the smartest person in the world. Now there's a lot of overheads in this game, a huge amount, and it's gonna take a while for you to figure out what is overheads and what are the best setups to go into overheads. But you can react to a lot of them. Let's see if I can execute an overhead really quick. Overheads are, for every single character, are forward and A. You can actually charge this up as well, but charging really doesn't do much except delay it a little bit. You can actually FADC this thing and backdash and forward dash out of it, which is pretty damn cool. Oops, wrong move. There we go. Now, it's gonna want me to block 5 of his attacks without getting hit, so I gotta like react to these. There we go. And if you see the overhead coming, he like charges back and stuff like that, so you can probably get used to that. A lot of other characters have really quick overheads, so it's something to be very cautious about. Use what you've learned to defeat the Superman. Okay, let's go. Come on, Superman, stop moving. Use an overhead attack, let's go! That should do it. And he's dead. So that's it for the basic training. Let's move on really quick. That's the stuff that everyone should generally understand from every single previous fighting game. So these are directional attacks, and every character has different directional attacks with their normal Y, 1, 2, or 3 moves. That's Batman's, and his is really good. Forward Y is a headbutt, and then back X, I believe, is a kick. This is actually a low, which makes that extremely good. So it changes up the properties of low attacks to high attacks sometimes, besides just being a regular high attack in most situations. So let's directionals. This one is just talking about juggles. So everyone's got a basic MK launcher, and it's down medium. For the most part, I'm pretty sure that's true. Down medium, and this is just saying that you can press X to juggle a guy. This is getting you used to a little bit of juggling. And boot. Ooh, my bad. And boot. This also, back A, is a wall bounce. I think we might explain this in a little bit, but this one's a wall bounce, back A, and forward A is the ground bounce. And that's just giving you a good example of what you can do after something like that. Connecting with back A while near a transition area will activate level transitions. So these are those things I was talking about in the review, how level transitions are important, albeit a little long. I think you can get the same effect, dramatic effect, without it being so long sometimes. But the reason I want them in and I don't want to turn them off is because they do good damage, and a lot of combos that I've had with characters revolve around screen transitions being necessary. There's also an interesting tidbit that for some reason screen transitions and supers run at a lower frame rate to be more quote-unquote dramatic than the rest of the game that runs at 60 frames a second. Interesting little piece of information there. And the transitions, depending on which side of the stage you go to, end up being different for each side. But I believe they all do the same damage. I might be wrong on that, but from what I've seen, they all do a pretty similar percentage damage. There we go. Attack buttons pressed in specific sequence will perform an attack string. So this is the basic, like, chain combos of this game. Well, not exactly chain combos, because they do kind of take specific timing. And these are going to be very necessary to remember when you start getting good at the game. When you start needing to get into longer combo strings to do damage, these are going to be absolutely necessary. So just go into training mode. You'll see that you have a ton of different moves that you have for each character that are strings. Remember them, because they are absolutely necessary. So throws are a la Street Fighter 3 Third Strike and Street Fighter 4. It's just forward and the what would normally be the two light attacks of Street Fighter, but in this situation it's X and A. You can also use your controller or just regular pad to make it one button. Either way. The normal throw for Batman actually puts him in a backward state. That's interesting. So breaking throws is actually done the exact same way. No. You're gonna push him right off you. And you can kind of react to it. I doubt you'll be able to really react to it online unless you know somebody's going to do it. That's not reaction, that's prediction. Unless the connection is absolutely amazing, the time window of that is still fairly short, and it might be a little difficult. Nonetheless, let's see some special moves. Now, before I even get any further, you saw that battering right there? It's back, forward, and Y. There's a thing that you can do if you go into options. I'll show it to you right now. You can do this thing called alternate control, and let's turn it on right now so you guys can see what the hell this actually does. I'm going to save this preset and see if this doesn't glitch out the game. No, it doesn't. What it means is that when you have your move list, you see how the batarang move changed from back forward Y to a half circle forward and Y. In my personal preference, this changes moves, or this is supposed to change moves to make it more familiar to Street Fighter. However, this is not the case, and it kind of makes these moves more difficult to do. So I actually recommend, if you guys are really wanting the game to feel more like Street Fighter, avoid this. Avoid this at all costs and stick with the regular back-forward motion, and you probably will get the same thing you normally would. And yeah, it just comes out the same. So let's go back to move list, controller preset, I'm sorry. And let's turn this thing back off. Because, in my opinion, the game is a lot easier. And look, if I try to do a half circle forward, it doesn't work now. You have to do back forward. Trust me, in the long run when I've been playing this game, it is easier with the default control scheme. Side kick. And there we go. Parrying. Batman's got a decent parry, but it only really parries ground high attacks, which does kinda suck. And nah. I wish it did a little bit more. If it did highs as well, that'd be way better. It'd make it so much easier. It's only okay. So there we go. Executing special moves will slowly increase your super meter. So let's talking about meter. To show you an example, this builds meter as well, which is probably the Batman's best meter builder in the game. So there we go. We got something close to a bar. And then it gave us one. Pressing RT just after executing special moves will result in something called a meter burn. This is also known as EXs. And for certain things, you kind of just want to mash it. There you go. And it comes out. That's probably the easiest way you can go about it. And it blows them up for that one. The kick one adds a grenade at the end, so it does some pretty good stuff. The most powerful attack in their arsenal is a super. And what's very weird about the super is that on an arcade stick, if you look at the top, it says Y, A, and RT. That's like making a triangle motion with the arcade stick, which can be a little difficult to do, or you can press LT and RT. Now, I like pressing LT and RT. The problem is that makes this game a 7-button fighter on arcade sticks, which can be a little jarring. Because you don't use the right-hand buttons most of the time, for the majority of Capcom fighting games especially. It's a little jarring, and I'm still getting used to it, but for now, I think that's a lot better than doing A, Y, and right trigger. That just kind of, you have to make like a claw in order to do that, which making claw motions on arcade sticks, in my opinion, is just no good. You don't want to do it. Let's move on. Batarang combos. So this is giving you an example that you can cancel a couple of his like basic 1-2-3s into something that involves the special moves. In this case, X, X, back, forward, Y. What's interesting about this, guys, is that the timing for you to actually input your special move after these combos can be a little difficult. Sometimes they just do not want to come out. And in that situation, I wish I had controller inputs up, you have to get it at the exact perfect time of your chain in order to get it out. Until you figure that out, it's actually not very lenient. There we go. I did the exact same thing before and then it came out that time. Let's try this again. Get down here. So there we go. Special move combo training complete. That takes care of all of how special moves work, EXs and stuff like that. Let's move on to the next big'em, which is unique abilities. Now Batman's unique ability is that he's got these damn-ass bats. Superman's got extra damage. What I don't use with Batman very much is this thing, which is like a projectile, like, safe move. You get close to a guy and you're gonna lose it. They go away if they hit a character, but it causes this huge juggle state. If you look at this, fire the bats. Fire the bats, Batman! So there we go, I got one. And you can shoot them out at your opponent as well. Superman just makes them big and beefy. For example, YYA does 9% damage, go to big and beefy mode, and then YYA does 13%. Not that much of a damage increase, maybe that's around 20-25% bonus. So it's pretty damn good if you have a beefy combo. Now, the Clash system is, like I said in the review, also known as kind of like the combo breaker, but you have to sacrifice meter against your opponent's meter, and it's kind of a wager of who is going to bet the most amount of meter to win this Clash. So let's give you a quick example. I've let him combo me. Oh, that didn't work. Ooh, that didn't work. There we go. So, during the timed wagering phase, each player has the option of secretly wagering any amount of super meter against their opponent's chosen amount, super meter that you might actually have. In this situation, you see the fact that Superman has X and Y, which is 2 meters, but I have all 3, so I want to use A in this situation because I'm going to actually, yeah, well, it's telling me to use B, but I would use A in that situation because I'm going to beat him no matter what, because he only had 2 bars. If the defender wins the Clash, they will gain an amount of health determined by the difference of how much meter was wagered. And let's give another example really quick. Mash it, mash it, mash it, mash it. Oh, this was in B. My bad. Come on, Soups. There we go. And in this situation, I don't have anything to wager, so Superman's gonna win. Straight up. If the defender loses the Clash, they will receive an amount of damage determined by the difference of how much the attacker wagered. So pretty much the more you put up, the more the defender loses. So that's it for clashing. Just keep that in mind that if you guys got 2 bars, you can only do it in the second round, and you can only do it once. So interactables are also a huge freaking thing in this game. Yo, I got some bombs, son. Suck it! And you can chuck those. The majority of other interactables are like things like this, like mid-screen interactables are usually that. And then side-screen interactables involve you doing something with the side of the screen. I think in this case, yes, we got rockets. Every other stage has something completely different, and I think Aquaman's stage is one of the biggest one with like a gigantic waterfall like coming out the side of the screen, which is really good. So this one is actually so important in this game that you're going to want to remember how to do this. People get put under a lot of pressure in this game with a lot of different attack strings, and oh my god, remember that you can press the meter button to do a push block to get you the hell out of there. So let's go on to again. These bounce cancels are essentially telling you that for the cost of 2 meter, remember this thing from the beginning of the tutorial? The back A and the forward A? All this is telling you is that you can put that into a combo if you want, but it's going to cost you 2 bars because it can be really damaging. So in this situation, in order to do that, you got to press forward forward or back back with the right trigger. In this situation, I'll just do back back so you guys can see it. That was the wrong button. You hear the sound. He goes into this special effect and it happens. So and there's the ground bounce. We're just gonna do this one again. Boom! These are really good, and it makes it so that even if you get a small combo, you can go immediately into your wall bounce and just get as much freaking damage as you possibly can. The reason it's good is because the wall bounce early in a combo, or the ground bounce, does a lot of damage. And that's why it costs 2 bars, because it can make things do a ton of damage over time. Now let's talk about reversals. I got a block. Ooh, this is a little tough. Now is a reversal, technically, even though it was super delayed. So special move, as you rise up, make wake up attacks. So let's get knocked down. That's a wake up. This is also telling you that you can tech roll by pressing buttons. There we go. You just have to essentially mash it. I was like trying to do it one at a time. No, just woof on the buttons and you'll get done with it. And that is about it for Injustice. So if there's anything else that you guys got questions for, leave a comment below. I'll try to tackle anything that you might be concerned with that is giving you trouble with Injustice or something like that. What's interesting is that the one thing they didn't show was that focus attack type thing. They didn't even show the fact that you can do that. So there is a couple of things in here that might still be hidden from the basic tutorial, but albeit not that important if you're just starting off. If you guys did enjoy the video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, but stay tuned, I'll be getting into some online ranked games fairly soon. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.